my focus is breath work. And breath work, somatic breath work, is scientifically proven the same as hypnosis or taking psychedelics.
We take ownership of everything that we create. We manifest everything, whether it's a desirable outcome or an undesirable outcome, maybe indirectly. You're thinking about it through subconscious, through your negative thoughts, through the vibration and frequency that you're putting out. It is being attracted to you. At 0 Point, we are honored that you're here so we can heal, learn, and grow together. No matter where you are on your journey, we all share a common aspiration to be happy and experience a joyful and abundant life.
Just like you, we have had our share of experiences with life, and through years of healing and self-discovery and the guidance of incredible mentors and teachers, we have found our light, our calling, and our purpose in this journey.
Our purpose is to give back by serving you to find your light and illuminate the path, and remind you that you are a spiritual, unique, and powerful being who is here for this wonderful experience we call life.
Allow us to come together and pour into each other so our collective energy, light, and consciousness can be a beacon of hope for other beautiful souls in need. We are excited to share this journey with you as our soul family and welcome you to step into a 0 point of the field of the heart and manifest your best life yet.
Hello everyone, welcome to 0 Point. My name is Lucifer, the Lightbringer, and I am here with my love
Gaia, and it's an honor to be here, and we're going to be talking about a very interesting and special topic that is the subconscious mind and the power of the subconscious mind through life.
Yes, it's a huge part of our essentially existence that is just developed. So I want to ask you, what is your take on subconscious? What does it mean to you, and what's your experience with it?
So most of my work, I actually focus on rewiring the subconscious mind. So we live in a 95% of subconsciousness, and just 5% is consciousness. And a very interesting thing is that our subconscious lives in our nervous system. So the subconscious means that memories are attached to your body, to your mind, to every cell, and the subconscious is attached to emotions as well. So something very interesting that I learned recently is that when we go back to a memory, our memory, is not really accurate 100%. So depends on the feeling that we're going through during the day. For example, if it's too cold today, we're going to remember that memory that is attached in our subconscious, not in our memory, and we're going to reflect it to the feeling that we're going through the day. So we're going to change a little bit the things. So one of the works that I do is to help rewire that subconscious mind that is inside of our nervous system and help to put different seeds and different emotions and different perspectives of it. So that's what it means, subconsciousness, for me.
Very cool. Okay. And it in terms of just like how it's formed, do you want to go into that as like in terms of like from birth to age 7? It's pretty important, that period.
Yeah, it's very important. I let you talk to it, and then I can just share my take.
So just the subconscious, if you will, from the day that you're born, even a lot of it even goes back to when you're in the womb. When the mother is feeling emotions, when just anything that is a stimulus that is stirring up emotions, those emotions create different chemical reactions that also affect the DNA that is forming the baby. Now, let's just put that aside for now and we go from birth. From birth to age 7, that is essentially the stage that our brains are in the theta wave state. That's more of a hypnotic stage. That's the stage that you are getting essentially imprinted by your outside, right? And that essentially, as what you mentioned beautifully, is 95% of our personalities and our just like belief system by that, because that's just wired into our DNA and our nervous system, right? And then after that, from the age 8 to about 14, it goes into more of a modeling stage. That's essentially when the kids are just seeing their parents, seeing their friends, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. And then after that is like all the way up to the age of 21 is almost like when you're diving into the social media aspect of it, or before social media, I guess it would be more dating, and you're kind of exploring outside of the family circle. So you're just learning what's acceptable, what's not, and that is essentially creating all that. So what's your process in terms of how you go about diving into it? What do you do with the limiting beliefs and thoughts? How do you go about that?
So I want to add first something to what you say that is very important. And so up to when they're 7, up to 7 years old, they still live in a very innocent state of mind. Like it's 100% subconscious. They don't understand the wrongs, the good, anything. That's why after 7, the kids start asking about so many things. How does this work? Why does it like this? Everything. They start asking so many questions. They become sponges. So the work that I do is so amazing that most of the work, the traumas that people carries through lifetimes, like even like elder generations, is through childhood, through those imprints that they get when they're even from the womb, how the mother takes care, how even the father is there and everything, and up to 7 years old, because they're completely innocent. They don't know what is happening. They just absorb so much. So those traumas, they come mostly from there. So what I do is my focus is breath work, and breath work, somatic breath work, is scientifically proven like the same as hypnosis or taking psychedelics. So when you do these two things and breath work, somatic breath work, you help yourself to be into a hypnosis theta wave state of mind. And when you're in that way, in that state of mind, you help yourself to really dive deep into the subconscious. Our mind is not taking control of us, it's just our body completely is there. It's just kind of surrendering to a moment. So what I do is help to put imprints, change the imprints that they were from childhood, and rewire the limiting beliefs. Just put the seed and help them believe, feel loved, feel enough again. So, but I have to do it when they are in a specific state of mind on the theta, when they're almost 100% of the subconscious. So I try to rewire. I do rewire that 5% of the consciousness. So the idea here is to put a little bit the percentage of the consciousness. Like when you heal yourself and you know this, we get into a point that the percentage, I think, levels up a little bit more, and you do more things more conscious. You meditate, you're conscious about doing this. You talk, you speak to yourself different because you're conscious of the words that are so powerful. You use the I am a lot. You love people because of who they are, what they are, no judgment. So that's when you learn to balance the consciousness and the subconscious a lot.
Yeah, the challenge with that is that 95%, I mean, think about a computer processor. If 95% of it is subconscious and only 5% of it is the conscious mind, that 95% is always overpowering that 5%. Now, the part of it is just that being aware of what is in my subconscious, some of these limiting beliefs and things that we just talked about. The other part is that some of the things that I bring to the table with Andrea is there is also energetic charges attached to all these emotions, right? As we will go through all this, I mean, everything is made out of energy, including these emotional attachments that you have. They have had an energetic imprint on you as your subconscious that is just engraved into the DNA. So through some of these processes, through neurolinguistic programming, through eye integration movements, a lot of these energetic things can be changed. So in a sense, as Andrea put it, you can actually change the past, alter the present, and alter the future. Now, doesn't mean you're physically changing the past, but your past and your perception is your reality. So if you are able to change the emotions that you have attached to certain events, right, certain trauma, and you're able to, in a way, somewhat delete it, you don't have to delete the lesson that was learned from it. The past is full of lessons for us, right? That's how we progress. But if that trauma, if that memory does not serve you, and it is in your subconscious and is constantly coming up, especially if it's in childhood, something that you don't even remember, but once it's tapped into in that state that we're talking about by her techniques or some of the stuff that I use, when you're there, you're able to change that. You're able to literally pick out that memory out of the timeline, reframe it, you can insert and reprogram a different memory that is going to serve you, and you're able to enjoy actually your life without having these limitations.
Yes, it's something that is very true about the movie The Matrix. It's not a movie, it's like we say, it's a documentary. It's really teaching you. You always have the perspective. You have the blue pill and the red pill. You're gonna have a different path, whatever way you go, but it's on you which way you wanna go. And it's with everything in life. Maybe you have a heartbreak, you fail, maybe you got fired from your job, maybe you got a divorce, anything. If you wanna look at it in the negative way, it's gonna take work, because everything, like you say, is energy. Every energy, it takes work, either positive or negative. So you gotta choose. You're gonna go to a negative way, you're gonna have to work on that. You're gonna have to work on depression, on sadness, and all of that. Or you take the other pill and you take the positivism and you see the lesson of it, you learn from it, and you move forward. So all the things are energy. And the perspective is so important. And the perspective is what's gonna shape your subconsciousness.
Yes. Absolutely, and honestly, I couldn't agree with you more. I always say this, that nothing is good or bad. It's really the meaning that we give it. Now, I have some friends that disagree with me, but when we sit down and talk about it, I'm like, okay, let's talk about what's good or bad. Because honestly, if everything that has happened to us, yes, it has a negative right away in action. Let's say if there's a death in the family. Let's say there is sexual trauma or abuse. I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just an event that you're experiencing, right? Now, that event that is being experienced, what meaning you attach to it long term is going to define you.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the other part is, and this is highly debatable, but I mean, when I watched the movie Secret several times, and then I learned more about what manifestation is and how we manifest everything, and a lot of it is based on the subconscious, if you think about it. And this is a very debatable topic. However, I'm a strong believer that we take ownership of everything that we create. We manifest everything, whether it's a desirable outcome or an undesirable outcome, maybe indirectly. You're thinking about it through subconscious, through your negative thoughts, through the vibration and frequency that you're putting out. It is being attracted to you. Now, you might not exactly be focused on this particular incident or this particular trauma that is going your way, but that collective consciousness and the vibration that you're putting out to the field is attracting something like that. Now, my thing is, if you can take ownership and just say, I manifest the good and the bad, right? If we call it bad or good, you don't have that victim mentality anymore, and you can kind of pay attention to it, that what was the creation of my subconscious? What is it that is either going through my genetic DNA that goes up several generations, say what, 7 to 14 generations almost, right?
14 generations. We carry about 14 generations of ancestral trauma. And that's crazy. That's amazing and crazy. So all the things that you go through is not just you. When you wake up and you're depressed, I'm sad this day or something, and you don't understand why, a lot of time is because you're carrying so much pain from your ancestors, and someone has to change to cut the cycle. So you don't carry it to your kids and to your great-grandkids or something. So
I mean, I have worked with clients that they're suffering from either psychological or physical pain, and once we go through the systematically finding out when these things are happening, there's usually around trauma, but those traumas, if you trace it back, something has happened very similar, either with the parents or grandparents, as far as you know. I mean, if you can actually tap into that, and some people know about their past as far as the family tree goes. And it is obvious that that is the trauma that was literally handed off to the next generation before they were come into existence.
Yes.
So that's just something, again, we're talking about something that is a subconscious level, but when you can tap into it and we can actually study it and you're aware of it, you can start kind of unraveling it and unwrapping it to be able to replace it with different memories. And there's different processes that goes through that, right?
Yes, actually, a subconscious is a very big topic. It has a lot of different things. And one thing that actually helped me to understand what is my purpose is to be in peace with my subconscious and to rewire the subconscious. A lot of people ask me, how did you find that? How did you find what you like, what you want? And it was, I have been through so much pain in many levels in my life, and just being able to change the perception of it. Now I'm grateful to every scar and pain that I have gone through my life, because I have learned to change a perception. And when I did that, I felt that I just took away so much weight out of my shoulders that I asked myself so much. So everything is tied to how we think about the things, how we perceive, how we just let the subconscious take over us, or how much we want to be conscious to just take over our life, our soul purpose, our spirit. So one of our purposes is to raise consciousness. 0 point is to raise consciousness, because from here to here is such a short distance, but it's the hardest to travel, is the hardest to be in peace with. But when you learn how to go from here to here, your life can just transform so much. And everything starts with rewiring the subconscious, rewiring your limiting beliefs, rewiring the archetypes and the architects that your family maybe shaped you, your friends, the society. And that is not their fault. It's just how they were raised. For example, parents that they were hard on them. Our grandparents were educated in a completely different environment. So that's the way they're educated. If you learn how to transform those things and not to put so much negativity, your subconscious, without having to go through all the healing tools that we do, they will start just rewiring by itself. And that helps a lot.
That does. And I couldn't agree with Andrea more on this one, because when you're operating in the space of heart, and I know if you haven't started your spiritual journey, this might not make sense just yet, but it truly changes the way your brain is wired. It starts unraveling some of the stuff that you recognize. Those energetic thoughts do not really belong to you. It's been, again, handed down to you, or through the tender age of, birth to 7, you've been actually experiencing it. So when you actually can think about that, and as we talked about, it's like on average, you have about 70,000 thoughts per day. And as Andrea mentioned, it like 80% of them, it's a very high number, are negative thoughts. These are measurable. By EEG, MEG, they can measure the frequency of these thoughts, and they know what's negative, what's positive. So when 80% of it is that is negative thoughts, and 95% out of those 80% are repetitive thoughts, which again, either you have wired it by keep thinking about negative stuff, or it's been kind of handed down to you with everything that has been in the subconscious in terms of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve, all the stuff that has been placed in our heads, but either not knowing in terms of parents, or by being bullied in school, or anything that you might want to think of. And the best way to do it is, again, when you come out of the head, and there's processes that you can go through, and you start thinking, literally, start operating in that heart field, and start having that unconditional love and gratitude and forgiveness. These have different vibrations that really starts attuning the brain vibrations, and you're able to actually tap into what is my programming, what has been handed down to me, do I want to change it, how do I go about it? And that's an entire other process. So how did yours start? I would love to know how you got started on the whole journey to become where you are.
I went through a lot of different heartbreaks, my body, I went through every single pain possible that you can imagine. But my last one, I hit rock bottom, and I was just so tired of going in the same cycle of things. With everything, with life, with work, with relationships. I was just going, and I said, this is enough. I felt that my soul, I wasn't happy. I was just going through life because I had to go through life. And in that moment, I said, this is enough. I'm worthy. My pain, it has been painful, but it's worth it, because it's giving me all this strength and resilience that I wrote here. Resilience. It's a reminder. So when I went through that, something happened inside of me that is switched, my perception of the things that I have gone through in life. And I started talking positive to myself. If I had a bad night's sleep, I say, oh, I had an awesome night's sleep. And then my body kind of will pick up that energy, and I wouldn't be tired during the day. I would start talking, I am beautiful, I'm strong, I'm resilient, I am enough. All these words every single day. Even my friends tell me, you look younger. Everything has changed. My energy field, my looks, I smile more. I'm so genuine in everything I do. and it just feels good. So it was like, it took time. It was like scaling, and now it's just so natural. The first things that I do when I wake up, the first things that I do when I open my eyes, I say 5 things that I'm grateful for, and before I go to sleep. And I feel that that itself, it has helped me so much. There is a lot behind this story that we will share at some point, but that was something that it helped me to really shift my life, my perspectives, to be able to just love the goods and the bads from life and just learn from them. What about you?
Well, it took me a while, kind of like, again, with you, I went down a dark path for a while too, in terms of just things in life that, again, as Andrea said, we'll discuss at a different time, but it's a lot of the stories there that I realized I needed to change my perspective. And it wasn't going to happen on its own. The doctors weren't going to be able to help me by writing prescriptions because it's just masking it. So I had to dig deep and see where I'm operating. And I realized I'm operating up here a lot. And again, we're mainly either thinking, regretting, having anger and shame towards the past, or we're worried about the future. That's when you're up here. And once I realized that, and through essentially my background in psychology and all the other spiritual coaches that I've had throughout the years, including my dad was the big one. But again, a lot of those things just go in your subconscious until you hit that rock bottom, that everything comes back up. Now you're learning to swim again, right? And this is the part that I think everybody who has been on this spiritual journey would agree with, that when we say you really manifest everything, because again, if those negative things, so to speak, negative things don't happen, none of us would be where we are right now, if you think about it. So in a sense, it's meant for your growth. So it's much easier, much more empowered to be able to just say, you know what, I manifested it all because even subconsciously, just my higher self needed me to get me to this level. And think about it, you take 1 or 2 of the events that happened to either one of us, I don't think I'll be the same person as far as where I am now. You know, and I don't think any of the audience that has had their breakthroughs, has had their awakening, is operating at the 0 point, would agree that we are manifestors. This is our reality. We create our heaven on earth or our hell on earth. And again, the heaven on earth really starts from here. Up here, it causes the hell. I mean, unless you just start really, really paying attention to it, that you can be present, right? Because when you're present, there is no subconscious working. It's like barely your conscious is working, you turn it off. You're more wave than particle, right? So what is some of your best advice for somebody who's actually kind of going through this and they want to take a better and deeper dive into their subconscious, and what are some of these limiting thoughts and beliefs that has been just imprinted in us?
So first of all, this is not a race. This is a journey. Don't try to just go too fast because your friends maybe are more healed or in a different journey. Every one of us has a different journey, a different path. So take your time, heal your wounds one at a time. I will say, in order for you to heal, you have to forgive yourself. Truly forgive yourself and forgive everyone in your life. And to understand that we all go through a different path. And if someone hurt you, it's their path. They have to go through that. And just forgive. The past already happened. There's nothing that you can do about it. The present is what it matters. And forgive, as I said first, that's the way that you can let go of the things. Forgive the others. They didn't know better at the time. They needed to go through a path. Give yourself time. Don't be too hard on yourself. You're a person that is just the same as us. We're learning, we're sponges all the time, we're just absorbing information, we're growing, we still maybe will fail on some stuff, but we will stand up. Always when you fall, stand up, and always try to fall one step ahead. It doesn't matter how slow, how little the steps are, just try to fall always one step forward. And in the moment that you will not even imagine, you will have this awakening inside of you. You will start seeing life with different lenses. You will start feeling love for everything. I love every single animal, plant, everything. I just feel the energy of everything, and it kind of gives so much back to me. So yeah, I would say the things just to start. After that is a journey, and if it was easy, if the things weren't challenging, yes, everyone will be doing it. So yeah, just embrace the discomfort and take the challenges, the beautiful challenges of life, because after the dark, after a storm, the sun always comes. After the dark, the light always comes. The dark doesn't exist. The dark is the absence of light. So what do you want to choose? You would want to be in darkness and don't put light? We'll always have the glimpse of light.
We want to bring the light.
Want to bring the light.
The Lightbringer.
So yeah, believe in yourself. You can do it.
It's so well said. I mean, one thing to just remember is past, present, and future are technically our illusions. Everything is already done, right? If you guys are on this path and you already understand the timelines is just us dragging our body through this physical form, through this time and space, right? So again, in the quantum field, there's infinite possibilities. So once you kind of recognize that I'm just experiencing this as of many, many other possibilities that I have, will, and at the same time have experienced, it becomes a little bit easier to just deal with that, you know what? I am manifesting everything. I take ownership for this one, because then when you take ownership of anything that even bad and traumatic has had happened to you, if you take that ownership of it yourself, you are empowered then. You are not a victim anymore, right? And that starts changing the subconscious and the DNA subconscious that you're passing on to the next generations if you are procreating or have procreated already, because that's been already handed down. So it can be, again, worked on to be able to reverse that. And as Andrea said, it is like once you really tap into that, I love it because my wife that I love very much, Andy, when we talk, and she's like, how do you have love for everybody? You say to people you love them, and do you genuinely mean it? It's just like, it's so true, because I'm like, it's a very different kind of love. As Andrea mentioned, it's like you start loving everything because you feel the connection that you have to everything, whether it's the table, whether it's the ground, whether it's just especially living things. You just see this energetic field like the matrix that we were talking about. You're just connected and just entangled in all of it, and then you start feeling that oneness. So when that happens, the love happens, because if you have self-love, and I hope you do, because if you don't, we definitely need to talk, you're gonna really start connecting with that. And once that happens, you have that love. So when I see and meet somebody and I tell them I love them, it's like, it's not a romantic love, it's like a divine love, right? It's like, literally, I'm like seeing myself in you, in Josh's dog that wouldn't be quiet for 5 seconds. I'm really grateful that he's actually allowing us to record this now. So it's just you feel the love and connection, right?
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you. It's just and it starts with forgiveness, because the day I was able to forgive and genuinely forgive, and I also forgive myself for going down the deep path of anger and just dislike and holding on to resentment and hate, and man, it's just such toxic and just things that are just going through us, and you don't realize that it's just snowballing and putting you in those depressive and anxiety states.
It's a cycle that never ends,
Right.
unless you really do something to cut it, and then it will change. The cycle will never happen again. So how do you want to close with this? So
we have a lot to talk about, obviously, but just again, we want to just really thank you guys for joining us. We are here to serve. We are here to connect. We are here to raise the collective consciousness. We are looking for our soul family. And you are all included. We're all, literally, if you think about it, we're all out of energy and vibration. It just needs tuning to be on the same frequency.
Yes.
And everybody can join and just experience what we're experiencing. Much love.
and believe in yourself. We believe in you.
Yes. Namaste.
Namaste. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and can join us next time. If you'd like to sit in as a guest and share the story of your journey and challenges that you overcome to inspire others, we want to hear from you.
Or perhaps you need a little support from your soul family to raise your vibrations. Please reach out to us directly by sending an email to zeropointactivation@gmail.com or via direct message on Instagram @zeropointactivation.
Namaste. Much love to you all.